everybody, it's Paul from Alexander Knife Sharpening and Laser Engraving. So we just finished Memorial Day weekend. I got in a ton of work. Let me show you this pile here. This is what I have to get through. And that's only part of it. There's still a couple more cases over here. And I have one case over here where I did all my long-term refurbished jobs and put them all in one case because I was starting to run out of cases available to put new jobs in. But what I wanted to talk about today is something that I think is often a misconception amongst people sharpening, especially people starting out sharpening, and that's the term sharpness, or what is sharpness. And what often happens, or what I see happen, is people equate grit with sharp. And we have to keep in mind that it's more of a formula. It's not just high grit, because something can be extremely sharp even at a low grit. And that's what I want to show you today. And you guys also know that I am not partial to any one way of sharpening, any style of sharpening. I think it's great to have multiple machines to be able to do different things and use what you think is going to work best for the particular job that you're facing. So today I'm going to do something a little different than what I typically do. As most of you guys know, I usually love to go edge leading because it's faster. But today I'm going to use my 2x42 all edge trailing, and I've actually set it up a little bit different. This is the way I wanted to have it set up for years, but I didn't have the space, and I kind of had it on a counter, could only work on it from one angle, so I always did everything on that edge leading. But I custom built my machine so that it could do both, and so it could work flat, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But I also wanted to let's talk about the topic of sharp. So I'm going to grab this Santoku just to use for an example today, and we will take it and let's see. So this is it cutting? A little bit. Not great, but yeah, it's cutting a little bit. So let's see where it is on a best tester. I have a best tester here. And I think I'm even gonna, yes, it's gonna be right at that scalp. I'm gonna grab a Sharpie, because when we retest this, I wanna test the same spot. So for this setup, it's gonna be very close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th scallop down. So I'm going to go to the 6th scallop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to put a little mark. And that's just for me to try and hit as close to the same area as we can when I retest it. But, you're never going to get exactly perfectly the same mark 2 times. But let's see how this is. All right. So here we go. Now, remember on this, slow push through. Don't chop the line. You should see the number scroll up slowly till the line breaks. 769. So still a pretty dull knife. And as you saw, it's still cutting paper, but that's a quite a dull knife. All right. And that is not a good best score. And so let's go on and let's start doing some sharpening of this. So you guys know I like 17 degrees for a lot of kitchen cutlery. So here's my custom built buck tool that I made just for sharpening. It's in a little different location. You can see I moved it to one of my movable toolboxes because I had to make some room for one of my lasers, the new laser that came in that I'm doing a review on. But I just wanted to show you this, and let's talk about, grit. So on here, this is a 200 grit Trizac belt. And I already set the angle of this is just to help me as a guide I don't need to use it for a guide, but this is set. I set this at 17 degrees. So I zeroed my angle setter on the platen, and then I put it on here until I reached 17 degrees. And I can just come up here and use this so that I know I'm hitting that 17 degrees. And let's get started. I'm going to sharpen this at 200 grit. Then I'm going to hone it. And then we're going to go over and we're going to test it on the best tester. And I'm going to show you what you can do with even just a 200 grit belt. And I think you'll be amazed. And hopefully it starts to get you to think about the fact that sharp and grit, yes, it's a formula that of a combination that goes together, but one isn't equal to the other. Okay, something can be very wicked sharp even at a low grit. All right, so let's get started here. Now I'm seeing a burr. I'm going to flip to the other side. Okay, so that was 7 passes on each side. I did raise a burr on each side. Now I'm going to take it over to my leather honing wheel, and I'm going to remove that burr that I raised. And let me see if I can get you guys in closer here. This one's always a tough one to shoot here. All right. And you will see the reflection of your little foily burr there. And you'll start to see it flaking off. Now, with edge trailing, it takes a little bit more, in my opinion, to remove the burr than it does if we had sharpened this edge leading. And you know it's gone when you stop seeing it going from one side to the other side. So it will start flaking off and going away. And then the other way you know is your knife will start to feel incredibly sharp. And it's feeling really good. Let me make sure you guys can see this. All right. Whew. Yeah. All right. So this feels incredibly sharp. All right. So let's go test it and see where we're at. So roughly 17 degrees, mostly done freehand. It wasn't like a complete guided sharpening session there. I'm going to take this right here. And let's see if it will do a freestanding cut. I do have a fan blowing over on the other side of the room, so it might be hard for this to stay put here. Let's see. Did you guys see that? And this is 200 grit. 200. So don't think, when people just confuse grit with sharp, they are not the same thing. It's a combination. It is definitely that combination of stuff. All right, so let's see where we are now. I'll get you in nice and close. And let's see where this best test is at 200 grit. And I'm going to do the best I can to hit that little black mark that we made before. All right. You see that? That's 127, guys. 127 off of a 200 grit belt. So that should really make it clear to everybody that sharp isn't just high grit. It's proper burr removal. You can make something incredibly sharp even at low grit. Okay? And I always love the term. I think the first person I ever heard it from was Cliff Curry. Like Cliff likes to do around 600 grit. He calls it, a toothy grind. You'll hear that a lot of times. I think that was who I always heard it from. Cliff would talk about like a toothy grind. That's what a 200 grit is going to give you, a very kind of toothy grind. And let's just take a look. I'm going to show you another new thing here that I'm in the middle of reviewing, but let's just take a look at it. So I just got sent this scope over here. I'm going to do a full review on it, but I want to show you guys what I mean. All right. So let me grab these to just set this up on. Is the little striations there from the abrasive. So all these little lines is what gives you the toothy grind. As we go up in progression of grits, these lines get smaller and smaller and smaller, all the way to the point where we can mirror them. Now, is it technically sharper? Yes, but like I said, it is a combination of things. So you're getting it closer to the feel of a razor. We all know when we shave with a razor, you don't feel anything, right? It just cuts straight through the hair. The hair just comes off on a really sharp razor. Where a toothy grind, it doesn't mean that the knife's not sharp. You're just feeling it grab. It has a little more grab to it. So if you're cutting like a tomato, it's going to grab that skin a little bit easier and cut. So that's the difference there. And I just wanted to kind of clarify that, because I think so many people don't clearly understand and grasp that it is not just, going up in a high grit progression that makes a knife sharp. It's just angle, proper sharpening, and proper burr removal. You can make an incredibly sharp knife, even if you only had one belt, as you saw here with a 200 grit belt. So hope you guys enjoy that. Just a quick little, information and tip out there for you all to see. I'm going to do a full review on this very soon for you. I just started it the other day. It just came in, but will tell you, so far I am very happy with this sharpener, with this digital microscope. So look for that soon. Hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have that review ready to go. As always, I will try and leave any relatable links to products and things that you saw in this video in the description of the YouTube video. Just go to the description and take a look in there and look for the links. I will also leave a link to my running list of products and things that I use in my shop. That is located on my website. You'll see a link to that there. And it has almost all the tools that I use on a regular basis. And if you don't see something that you're interested in, you can send me a message and I will try and find it for you.